Hello everybody. So today's video is different from my normal content. I wasn't even planning on videoing this, but as you can see, I sketched it out, including some lettering on here. And when I say sketched it out, I actually worked hard on this and I was pretty careful with it because somebody actually asked me to do this painting for their wedding. You can see I erased a lot, I smudged the paper, so hopefully that will get covered up with paint and won't be an issue. Now, if you're mainly here for beginner-friendly projects, don't worry, I've got a brand new challenge coming soon. It'll be similar to my Little by Little series, but this time with a cozy autumn twist. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited to share that one. To start off here, I have a mixture of Payne's Gray, burnt sienna, and some sap green. I actually received a photo of the glasses they will be using at their wedding to serve their peach Bellinis. And I wanted to capture that color, but I definitely used artistic license. This glass, the shape is generally what they're using, but there's a design on theirs. They're beautiful glasses, but I've left mine pretty simple because I want the colors of the drink itself to really shine. So you'll see that here in a little bit. You can see I'm just filling in the base and leaving just a little bit of white showing through for a highlight, but we're going to add more highlights later with a gel pen. And I am coming up here to start on our little slice of peach and starting with the skin of the peach. And I'm using cadmium-free red for that. There are quite a few layers to this painting. And FYI, I have sped up the video, especially in parts where I'm just going to be outlining or filling in a certain part of the painting with just water. And I obviously didn't film me drying it because whatever, but this did take me over an hour to do. I will just put that out there. And I have, again, sped it up 1.5 times throughout the video and then sped it up even more when I'm doing those kind of tedious things, just because I want to keep the videos short for you as much as possible. But I still think because I was painting so slowly in real life, that even though I've sped it up, you can follow along. And you can always hit pause if you're painting along, or you can even speed me up if I'm still going too slowly for you. And here's one of the places I'm speeding up because I'm just filling it in with water here. And now I am tapping in some cadmium-free yellow to begin with. And the reason I put water down first is because I want our colors to just flow freely and then blend freely once I add some other colors as well. Plus, I just love the wet on wet technique because I just think that's where the magic of watercolor comes through. It's just the way the colors move around and just the watercolor does its thing, and I love it. All right, we've already got something resembling a peach here. So I'm just going to kind of fill in all these little spaces here. And then while it's still wet, I'm coming in with some more cadmium-free red. And I'm just tapping the edge of the peach there, kind of in the center portion, and letting that blend as well with that yellow that is still wet. And so we've got a nice red and it's turning into like an orangish peach color. And I just think it's looking gorgeous. I love watching it just kind of blend together like that. Almost looks good enough to eat, eh? And then I'm just going to continue to add some more yellow and red, just tweak it and let things blend together. Now, I mentioned that I was not planning on recording this, but once I got my drawing finished, I was searching for other videos that I could use to see, what colors people used, how they did it, how they went about it, but I could not find even one video about it. So I thought, well, why not be the person who puts the video out there, and I will share it with somebody who may need it in the future. And also, I think I shared in my last video, I have not been feeling very creatively inspired lately. So this being a commissioned piece, I thought, well, I may as well go ahead and do that because this person gave me the exact subject matter to paint, and that is helpful. So I thought, good enough. I'm going to just share that here and I don't have to think about what to paint. All right, you can see I just filled in this space with water because again, I want everything to flow freely. And I put plenty of water, not like puddling, but there's a lot of water in there. And this is Winsor lemon. Again, my colors and supplies will be in the description. And while that Winsor lemon is still wet, I'm going to add cadmium-free yellow. And you can see I am just leaving some white spaces. I want this to really look like blended colors. I don't want a solid color in the end. And so that's why I'm doing it this way. And now the cadmium-free yellow, still wet, and I'm adding cadmium-free red. And just letting those colors run together and do what they want to do. And you can see they're blending beautifully. I love it. And when I watch the replays of these videos I do, I notice so many different times where I could have stopped and it would have been fine. Like right now, I think it's a beautiful drink. But what are you going to do? I just kept going. It kind of looks like a sunset too. You can use this wet on wet technique for so many different things and just experiment and have fun. And yeah, I do not drink alcohol, fun fact. So I had to Google what is a peach Bellini. I didn't even look what's in it. I have no idea what's in it, but I Googled what it is so I knew what it looked like so I could paint it. But it is very pretty. And I also had to Google what the parts of a glass are. You're going to think I'm sheltered, but I didn't know. So this part is the bowl, evidently, and then there's the stem and the base. So I learned something new, as usual, when I paint. And how long ago was it that I said I could stop at any time? But I just keep going, don't I? But you know what? This is kind of relaxing for me, just blending and watching the colors do their thing. And yeah, I just think it's so fun. And I try to remember that when I'm painting, even if it's painting something for someone, I'm just trying to enjoy the process. So I'm bringing in some more red toward the bottom, just thinking maybe it would be darker at the bottom. I don't really know. I've never seen one in person. And actually, when I think about the photos that I saw online, they might be a little bit lighter than this, but I suppose it depends on who's making the drinks, and that is what I'm going with. And actually, I gave this painting to the bride-to-be yesterday, and she loved it. So if she's happy, I'm happy. But yes, back to me continuing to work on this portion of the painting. Every brush stroke can be considered practice, and this wet on wet is so fun. And even just like tapping in here when I'm not adding paint, just blending it together is fun. Okay, I let that completely dry before starting this next section. And on my brush is the same color combination from the beginning, the Payne's Gray, the Burnt Sienna, and the Sap Green. So just going to go around the rim of our glass here. And I'm telling you, this is sped up. So you can imagine how slowly I was going in real life. But really, there's no rush, which is funny since I'm speeding through some of the parts of this video. But the reason I'm speeding the video up is for your sake, so that the video doesn't end up being an hour long, because who has an hour to watch a video? Not me. So doing this for you, and again, you can imagine how slowly I'm going. Look at this. This looks like I'm taking my time. Well, I was going even slower in real life. So anyway, if you've watched my other videos, you are well aware that I usually don't paint really slowly. I love painting quickly. I love a nice short video. I love to be able to have kind of a quick win, if you will. And that is what's coming up in my next series, which is going to be, like I mentioned, an autumn series with small paintings that I'm going to definitely keep under 15 minutes. Hopefully most of them under 10, because that's how I roll. Okay, you can see I outlined the bowl of our glass, and now I've just got water on my brush, and I'm just kind of pulling that color down and just trying to give it that glass, translucent effect. And I think it's looking pretty good. And now I've got a little bit more color on my brush, and I'm going to make that upper portion of the stem a little bit darker, kind of like a shadow from the bowl maybe. And again, you can see I'm just going to be outlining the side of our stem as well, giving it a little more, what do you call it, shape, a little more definition, and adding even more darkness under the bowl there at the top of the stem. And I'm going to be using a little bit of a different technique on this. I've been doing a lot of wet on wet. So now my brush is pretty dry at this point, but I'm just pulling that color that I just added up there, and I'm pulling it all the way down the stem, as you can see. But my brush is, like I said, pretty dry. And the paper, while it is a little bit wet since I pulled some of that color in there, it's not very wet. And maybe you can even see that in the strokes that I'm doing. They're pretty light because I'm not adding water and I'm not adding color at this time. I'm just pulling. And now I am going to add some water and some color because I'm going to get a little more precise and go around the base of our glass. And this again is adding some more definition, and I think it adds some dimension and just some interest, some contrast of colors, and I just think it makes it look pretty crisp and nice. Definitely not going for perfection here because that's not what I do. And in fact, I even make this a line and wash painting at the end, kind of keeping true to my style, which is usually line and wash. I love adding pen details at the end, so we're going to add black and white ink at the end, as I do in so many of my paintings. Okay, that is all dry now. Taking that same color combination, and I'm just kind of painting the back portion of the bowl of our glass, pulling that green color up into the upper portion so that it matches our lower portion. And I really like the color combination. They've done a really nice job picking out all the little details for their wedding, and so I'm really excited for them. All right, going to finish this portion up and let it completely dry. And now I'm going to come in and work more on the drink itself. And I have just got a little mixture of cadmium-free red and cadmium-free yellow to give us our little orangey peach color. And just outlining kind of the level of the drink that's in the glass. I know that was not good English, but I don't know what to say. This, I think, just really helps the painting out to kind of show you how full the glass is, and yeah, just defines the liquid in the glass, for lack of better words. And I think it's looking pretty darn good. What do you think? I hope this helps somebody at some point, because sometimes it's just hard to know, I mean, when she asked me to paint a peach Bellini, of course, first I'm like, what's a peach Bellini? But how do I go about it? And sorry, I did my sketch without videoing it, but really I just started with the basic shape of the bowl, and then I did the stem and the base, and then finally the little oval at the top of the rim. And then I did my fruit and my little mint leaves. Okay, speaking of mint leaves, we're hopping on in there. So to start with, I've just got a very diluted sap green that I'm going in with first. And I'm really winging it with the mint leaves here. I'm sure that they were in probably one of the photos I looked at when I was trying to get ideas of how I wanted to do the peach and whatever garnish I was going to add. But I have a friend who has a ton of mint in her garden this year. So I was kind of doing it on memory too, by memory, because I was like, well, I know they have some little jagged edges and different, varying colors of green. So just going with it here, while the diluted version, oops, I got a little bit on the peach. So yeah, that's not a pro tip, using your fingers, but kind of. Okay, while that first layer of the light green is still wet, I'm adding some more saturated sap green. So same color, just less water, and that gives it the darker color. And you can see I'm kind of doing little jagged edges here, and I kind of did some lines to maybe represent some veining in the leaves, but I'm being pretty loose with our mint here, just trying to make it somewhat resemble mint, as I've said in many of my videos. Is it super realistic? No. Is it somewhat recognizable? Yes. Okay, good enough. All right, then I started panicking here because I was like thinking that I needed to bring the mint leaf like lower than the peach, but I thought that looked weird, and so then I'm like, oh, I'm going to add another mint leaf. And I'm like, oh, here's where I'm going to have to scrap the entire painting and start over. But you know me, I like to try to make my mistakes look like I meant to do it, or at least fix them enough that I can keep going with the painting. And so that's what I did here. So right here, I'm just like, great, my mint leaf is see-through and I can still see the drink through it, but don't you worry, we're going to fix it. I'm just kind of tweaking all these leaves. They're all still wet as I'm working in here and just adding different lines. And you can see just tapping and kind of scribbling a little bit. And this one I'm going to make a little bit darker just to really cover up the drink portion. And I'll lighten it up here with some other techniques here in a little bit that you will see. That peach, I'm pretty happy with how that peach turned out. And the drink, I love how those colors blended in the drink itself. Okay, perhaps overworking our mint leaves just a tad, but also just having fun with them and just tweaking them until I'm satisfied with what I see. And I really like them, and I let them completely dry. and bringing in my white gel pen. And this is a size 10 jelly roll. I believe Sakura is the brand. And you can see I'm adding some highlights around kind of the top of our drink there. What words am I looking for? The top of our drink? I don't know. So around that line. And yep, love what that adds to it. And I'm just going to use this gel pen to add highlights to our peach. And I'm going to use it in our mint leaves. And you're just going to see me use it all throughout. I also use it on the glass itself. So I hope you enjoy watching and I hope you enjoy doing it. Does anybody enjoy adding pen details as much as I do? This part is probably the most fun for me. So you can see I added highlights to the rim of our glass, and now I'm down on the base of our glass and the stem, and you can see it being very loose. This is where kind of my real style comes in because I like to scribble my lines, and this is just so fun for me. And you can see on the base of the glass, I'm kind of doing rounded highlights just to kind of let the flow of the shape show. And yeah, loving it. And here's where I'm going up into the mint leaves. And again, scribbling. This is my wheelhouse here. Like this whole painting in and of itself, out of my wheelhouse. But the pen details, it's making it my own. And now coming in with my black pen, I've got a Micron size 5. If you're not adding any more paint and you know it, you don't have to use a special waterproof pen, but this is what I've got. And adding in some darker details. And in those mint leaves, if you add too much white, you put the black over it. It works out great. And now for our stem, I'm just going around the outer portion of the stem there on the left side. And look how that just defines it, you know? I love it. And doing the same on the base just gives it definition. I also decided I wanted a little bit of a smaller pen to go up into the peach. So this is a 005 size. And you can see I'm just adding some little fuzzy, edgy, scribbly details on our peach there. Hopefully you can see that all right. And please, if yours doesn't look like mine, please try to embrace that. Make it your own and just have fun with it. This is so fun for me, especially all these pen details, because to me it just makes it pop. It just kind of finishes it off, and I absolutely love this part. And you may be one of those people that doesn't like the line details, and that's okay. I just happen to be one of those people where most of the time my painting does not feel finished until I add ink at the end. Although I can see many, many artists' paintings who never use ink, and their paintings are gorgeous. I don't know how they do it. Okay, I'm speeding you up through this because here I go. I am just doing a final little outline of everything here in my mind, making it pop even more and just giving it that finishing touch. Oh, I just love it. And because it seems I can't help myself, I'm going to come back in with my white gel pen as well and just put highlights. You can see scribble, scribble. I'm just loving it. Anywhere you think there might be light shining on it or reflections in the glass, or you don't even have to think about it in that sense. You can just add these details for the sake of whimsy. All right, and then I was trying to do a shadow. I'm going to be honest. I was trying to do a shadow and I was not liking it. And then I was like, fine, it's just going to sit on a table. And then I was like, the table can't be the same color as the glass. So I added some Payne's Gray and we made a little tabletop for our glass to sit on. And I tweaked it and tweaked it. And that's why I'm just speeding this part up for you because it's really just me painting this kind of organic looking rectangle as a table. And I do like how it ended up looking. I like the blue with the colors that I chose already and loving it. Okay, one last tweak, and that is to add just a little bit of definition and maybe separation, if you will, to our peach and between the glass and the peach. But yeah, just adding these finishing details that maybe only you will know you did, you know? All right, now I'm just tracing over the penciled in letters that I did just in my own handwriting. And I did add a few little extra lines to thicken them up a little bit. And there she is, our peach Bellini, something I never thought I'd paint, but I had fun with it. Okay, thanks so much for joining me as I tried something different today. Maybe you'll try something different after watching this. I hope you enjoy. Don't forget, I've got a brand new beginner-friendly autumn challenge coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. And until then, happy painting!